The Remain in Mexico program under the Biden administration is entering its third week in El Paso. First implemented by President Donald Trump, the so-called Migrant Protection Protocol, or MPP, requires asylum seekers to wait for their American court dates in Mexico. The El Paso location is first to roll it out. Advocates and Border Patrol in other border communities tell our Anastasia Bolton they've received essentially no information about the second edition of MPP, so they know very little about what's coming, how the new policy will shape their jobs and affect the people wanting to get into the U.S.
The MPP is effective, and it would absolutely make a difference for border security.
John Anfinson is president of the Border Patrol Union in the Del Rio sector.
In Del Rio sector, we have absolutely zero information. It's still, at this point, only being implemented in El Paso, and we're only seeing numbers around 30 or so per day.
Anfinson tells us the Migrant Protection Protocol will allow more agents to be out in the field. But right now, he said the federal agencies running the program haven't provided details as to how agents should decide who to send back to Mexico under MPP or expel under Title 42, a CDC rule Border Patrol has been using to remove most migrants, citing the pandemic health emergency.
We have a new person standing in front of us, and we have to figure out, okay, how are we going to process this individual? There need to be instructions. At this point, we don't have anything because MPP just is not up and running here.
They're not telling us how people are going to be processed.
The lack of information is making Jennifer Scarborough's job of trying to help people almost impossible. She's an immigration attorney south of Del Rio in Harlingen.
So how do you advise people? They could try to enter the United States to request asylum, hoping they're going to be placed into MPP, and then they could wind up back in their home country instead. So this lack of transparency, these conflicting policies, the lack of information, it's really putting people's lives at risk.
The dangers of cities where people placed in MPP have to live and wait have been widely publicized and is one of many criticisms of the program.
How do we create a system that recognizes people's humanity? And I think that has to be the question, where we start.
I don't know what the alternative is unless there's a policy change at the White House level to make the process more efficient. If they want to make it easier and safer for people to come to the United States and claim asylum, then they have to make a different process than what we're doing now.
With Jose Sanchez, I'm Anastasia Bolton.
The Department of Homeland Security has said it was not sharing details of MPP locations and the number of people returned for security reasons. The new chief of the Del Rio Border Patrol sector, Jason Owens, told us MPP was being phased in slowly. Chief Owens says the program is being put in place on a small scale to make sure everyone involved is able to handle the volume of people coming through. So far, the U.S. government sent 188 people across the border to Ciudad Juarez to wait for their American court date.